America. This is Robert Reese, and welcome back to the CEO Show. We're here today with Fred Laluyaux. Did I get that right or not?
You got it very well.
Oh, well, you're a gentleman. That's because you're from France. Who is the co-founder and president and CEO of Aera? That's AERA. Now, I'm going to tell you, in fairness, I had not heard of the company. Once I found what they did, I was literally blown away. They are doing, in a sense, like what no one else is doing in terms of AI and decision making. Talk about what the business is, because CEOs, you will love to hear this. This is the type of thing that can elevate your business.
So thank you for that, Robert. Thanks for the kind words here. So we need a category that's defined as decision intelligence. And what decision intelligence is the digitization of the decisions that you make every day in order to run your business. From supply chain to operations to demand creations, companies make thousands, tens of thousands of small and big decisions. People are overwhelmed with the amount of decisions that they have to make every day. And our technology enables the digitization of that process, meaning that it will analyze your data in the context of your company and your industry. It will deliver recommendations to the business to actually move inventory from one place to the other, change the forecast, hold a PO for a supplier, switch a supplier. All those decisions are digitized in Aera. Aera delivers recommendations. Those recommendations are delivered to you in an inbox in plain English, like if you had a digital analyst that was working 24/7 for you. And you as an operator, you accept, you reject, you modify the recommendation, and the system goes and executes them. It's going to write into your transactional systems, your planning tools, the outcome of your decisions. And the beauty of it, Robert, is as it does it, it builds a permanent memory of all the decisions that you've made on a given topic. And that memory is the foundation for learning. So you now have a system that over time learns from the decisions that you've made and delivers more accuracy, more speed, and allows you to make decisions across the value chain, breaking down the traditional data and functional silos that are, structuring enterprises today.
Yeah, so this is so interesting. As I mentioned, I've never seen a company that does exactly what you do. And as a matter of fact, you've once said that you are going to create the self-driving enterprise. And I'm thinking you might even have an ability to figure out an ROI on making great decisions versus making poor decisions, because you're more involved with that than anyone else is.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's correct. So we coined the expression the self-driving enterprise when we launched the company. It was June 19, 2017. We wrote a paper saying, welcome to the self-driving enterprise. And it was a very high-level analogy between the self-driving car, which didn't exist at the time. It was just prototypes, and the self-driving enterprise, which also didn't exist. And as the company evolved over the last 8 years, we saw the evolution in parallel of the two technologies. And if you're in San Francisco today, you will see not only the Waymos that everybody's heard about, the regular car equipped with the self-driving technology, which it's nonsense because you have the car which is ready to be driven by a human operator, but we're also loading it with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of tech to remove the human. But you also see the Zoox, and the Zoox is this new capsule on wheels with no steering wheel, none of the instruments that are required for a human to drive the car. And this is operating completely on its own. The passengers are facing each other and not showing each other's back. And there's no driver, but there is a network of these that is being optimized. And that's exactly what we're enabling with decisions. We're removing the driver, we're removing the steering wheel, but we're enabling the enterprise to operate in what we call a decision intelligence network. And you ask about the ROI, it's so many different levels. The first one is every single decision. Aera will make a recommendation and automate a decision to move inventory from that distribution center to this other one to avoid a back order. Very tactical stuff. Every decision that the system recommends or executes is tagged with a context and an expected outcome. So think about today, enterprises, you don't see the decision that you're making with it. You see the outcome a month later was the sum of all the decisions that we made, delivering positive results against the plan or not. Here, every single micro decision can be analyzed. And that's why we need to provide the technology to do that. But the real ROI is around the optimization and connecting dots that are not being connected today. Today, I can connect my strategy to reduce raw material waste with my demand creation. I can do that in a single decision-making process. And that thanks to the fact that the decisions are being digitized. I'm taking the human out of the loop and I'm allowing the human to control the process, but not operate every step of the way. So ROIs would be, customers deploying our technology, they see basically full ROI within 6 months maximum. We did our user conference in New York just a few weeks back, and you heard companies like Hershey talk about 90 days full ROI on the project. So from start to deployment, go live, 90 days for the entire project. And then from that point to full ROI, an extra 90 days, which when you think about the scale and the complexity of what we're enabling or deploying, full digitization of decisions for a large enterprise is incredibly short.
Now, so you're showing 90 days, but let's say you take a Hershey or another company, what is the actual number of the ROI
In
on
the
the next
case,
90 days?
So this is a tricky question because we can't really discuss the customer's ROI, but I do believe that Hershey discussed that number publicly, so I can maybe mention it. I think around $5 million in that first 90-day window. But if you think about the ROI of making better, more efficient, faster, more connected decisions across your organization, you're impacting a lot of metrics. Mars actually years ago had a Forbes article talking about some of their ROI, and the ROI was measured in dollars. So basically, the amount of raw material that was not finished good that was not wasted as part of transportation, but it was also measured in millions of miles not driven on the road, carbon footprint, cost. So you think about ROI, it's not just one metric. When you start optimizing your decision, you'll optimize for cash, for cost, for service level, for carbon, for water, for waste. So it's an ensemble of dimensions that you're measuring against, not just one dimension.
So when you look at decisions, there are structured decisions and non-structured decisions.
Correct.
What is the process to go through each of them? And you have about 2 minutes until the break.
Okay, I'll be quick. So structured decisions, very simple. Those are the ones that a company knows how to describe. This is what we do repeatedly. We're going to, every Monday, every Friday, we're going to do this. And you can write it, and then you basically instruct Aera using agents or deterministic logic on how to replicate that logic, roll it out, run it, and run from it. But there are many decisions. You saw the tariff situation a few months ago where nobody planned for it. Now I need to bring people together, leverage the data that's in the tool, leverage the intelligent capabilities for prediction optimization that are available in Aera to actually make a situational decision. And sometimes those situational decisions can also be automated.
Anyone who wants to hear about your company, what is the website? And I think we have 600,000 people listening in, mostly CEOs. This guy is like the Steve Jobs of decision making. He has created something that did not exist before, and this is going to transform the world. What is the website?
Aera Technology, which spells AERA technology.com.
There you have it. When we come back, we're going to find out from Fred what was a transformative moment that he had that changed everything, that elevated him to make such a tremendous breakthrough company. Back in a few. Hi, this is Robert Reese on the CEO Show. We interview the CEOs who have reinvented the fabric of America, and this is of the world. And we have the CEO of Aera, and he has Fred has created a decision-making process that no one has ever done this before. It's really like what Jeff Bezos did, where he used to sell, he used to sell books. Now he sells everything. It's the same way you started decision-making in supply chain, but now it's everything. But let's talk about where it all started. And you told me there were really two transformative moments that blended together in your life.
Yeah, look, I was born and raised in France, not in a tech family, didn't know much about tech. Find my ways to the United States when I was 19 doing an internship, met some fantastic people that gave me an opportunity to build a first startup literally in a garage in Paris in 1993 when the word startup did not exist. And that startup was actually taking a technology that was invented by some young folks from MIT and Harvard. They were slightly older than me, but not that much older. And I love the technology. I'm not going to go into what it was, but some pretty hard, complex barcode stuff. And I remember one day meeting with them on the campus of MIT and being blown away by the speed, by the ambition, by the velocity at which they were operating. I thought I was coming for a whole day meeting, and after 1 hour, they were like, "Fred, we love you, but get out of here. We got a next call." And again, that velocity, I just remember being back on the streets of the MIT campus going like, okay, that's going to be my life. I need to be there. I need to be in the United States. I need to be where things are being created and invented. And a journey, led from one thing to another. And in 2010, I was working with SAP, and my part of my role was to help operationalize the strategy. And at the time, already was talking about social mobile cloud. You may remember SOCOMO. And there's a 5-year plan, Sun Tzu, beautiful. And I looked at the plan and I thought, well, this is great. But the real problem that companies are going to face across the world is making and executing decisions on top of a ERP remains incredibly complex. Companies have 10, 11, 12 layers of hierarchy. It's incredibly difficult to learn how to work in the company. This is the Uber problem that we need to fix. And social mobile cloud will be enablers, but we got to tackle the problem of making decisions. The other one that had been working at the time in analytics for a long time, and you'll understand that, Robert, if I ask anybody, what is the system that you use to record the decisions that you make every day? Because obviously intelligence is based on memory, right? So if you don't have a memory, you repeat the same mistakes. So what is the tool that you use today to record the decisions that you make? And people look at me with big eyes going like, we don't have one. And I thought to myself, we got to invent a system that allows to move from people making and executing decisions supported by machines, tools, data sets, blah, 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 to machines making and executing decisions guided by people. And that led me to think about a system. How could we make this work with massive implications? The collapsing of the tech stack, the delayerization of our enterprises, waste reduction, and new roles that would be created. And we're seeing all of that becoming the reality of the largest and the fastest moving companies in the world today, from Exxon to NVIDIA to Estee Lauder to Dell. They're all deploying this kind of approach today. And that's 15 years later.
Congratulations. Truly remarkable. So if someone was to make a simple scientific model, or mathematical model would be better, that outlines the process of analyzing decision effectiveness, what would that model be?
There's multiple answers to your question here, Robert. There's always a starting point. We meet a company and they say, we want to reduce the amount of raw material that we waste. Okay, clear. So you have a number before, you deploy the technology, and you look at the number after. And the numbers are stagnating because we remove the human-based inefficiencies, which are everywhere by nature. Humans are really good at creating, they're not really good at repeating and working fast enough. So you remove the human-based inefficiencies from the processes. So the core goal that you have when you deploy what we call a skill, a technical competency with Aera, you analyze the before and after. So you don't need a model. You need just a set of data. Now, if you want to look at the evolution over time, we've got algorithms for that. One's called auto decision learning. And it's basically machine learning algorithms that are going to look at the efficiency of your decision making processes as they leverage the memory to improve over time. And there's a set of metrics that you can leverage to measure that.
So what should CEOs do to prepare for agentic AI and talk about what realistically agentic AI will look like?
Well, agentic AI is now a reality. And I say now because it wasn't such a so let me backpedal a little bit. I said something that's inaccurate. Agentic AI is everywhere already, but it's really helping you with personal productivity, or it's been really great to help you with text heavy functions, contract management, call centers. It's done a good job. It wasn't there into running your operations. You could not until recently leverage generative AI, neural networks that have been trained on specific content, and trust them to leverage to operate part of your business. We've changed that reality. We have large customers who are now deploying agentic AI based logic to run part of their supply chains, their revenue management, their operations. Now, my message here is it started and it's happening now, not in the future. It's available and it works today. The benefits are in two areas. Number one, you use prompt to actually write the logic that you want the system to deploy, as opposed to programming this. The second is the way the system learns. You asked me the question earlier. I talked about auto decision learning with agentic, and the way the system learns is different and it's faster. It will require a little bit more human supervision, but it gives you those insights that you need to improve the quality of your decisions. It gives you that insight faster. So it is a reality. You got to get on it. I meet a lot of CEOs that are telling me, why am I deploying for the next 3 years, 5 years, technology that's already obsolete? And that's the realization. And it happened too fast. A lot of CEOs, CIOs have made decisions to deploy a new planning tool, a new this, a new that, to run their operations. And at the time they made the decision was the right one. The problem is that technology is moving so fast that you're now stuck in you committed to deploying a tech for the next X number of years.
So I want to interrupt you. Where will this two big questions, and this is for the end of it, where will technology be in a few years that will say, wow, I wasn't expecting that? And is it possible that machines can overtake humans and make humans obsolete?
So, well, I think the two questions are very tightly related. The technology is going in a direction where the autonomy, we talked about the self-driving enterprise, the autonomy will become a reality, where your systems are, we talk about agentic ambient orchestration. You have this digital power that's analyzing the data in the context of your industry and your business, and is able to run autonomously full functions in your business. And that is happening. It's starting. And in the next few years, it will happen just the same way robotics changed the way you manufacture products. We're deploying the same thing, but for supply chain, for demand creation, and so on and so forth. So that is going to be happening. But the humans have to learn how to operate those new machines. And there'll new jobs being created. One of them is a decision architect. Another one is a decision analyst. So fewer job for these, but an ability to monitor and guide those systems is going to be the reality of our enterprises. And the last thing I would say in terms of impact is organizations will be flatter. I mentioned that, less layer, but they will be operating across the value chain. So the whole idea of I am a demand forecaster and that's my job and I've done that for the last 15 years, this is going to be a way, and you're going to be looking at deploying your talent as a human operator across a value chain, not just in a specific silo.
And there you have it. One more time, the website, because I think people will be fascinated to see what you're doing.
Thank you. It's aeratechnology.com, and Aera is spelled AERA technology.com.
And there you have it. I want to tell you, Fred, I commend you on doing something truly remarkable and transformative. And I'll say here, although McGraw-Hill may want me to write version 2 of the Transformative CEO, if I was to write it, you would definitely be in that book.
Well, I really appreciate that, Robert. Thank you very much for having me today and for the great questions.
America